What's happening, people, and welcome back to the club rooms. I know it's been a little while. We've been on holiday, should we say, for the last couple of weeks, but it's good to be back doing the club rooms with the members and discussing the things with you guys in person, especially tonight, guys. After a massive win, it's your opportunity to get your thoughts out there. I'll discuss it. I'll give my thoughts and share with you guys, but any questions or comments, we're going to be going through it all tonight for the next hour. So appreciate you guys all dropping in. 34 currently. But I want to give a massive shout out to all the channel members. Firstly, much love to Randall. Thank you, Randall, for becoming a channel member and being part of our team here at Wise Up TV. We hope you enjoy your stay, that you get the opportunity to jump in here on the club rooms. And if you're interested in joining the Discord as well, there's that opportunity as well. All details are in the community post page. Much love to Inspector, Jazz Tamatea, Nick. Sorry, Nick, I know you messaged me on Instagram. I forgot to get back to you, but hopefully we can discuss most of that stuff tonight. Team Mackie, as always. Yeah, it is nice, isn't it, to sing that team song every single time. Hosea and Tenakwe, Te Prata. No doubt you've been busy. And much love to you and the whānau. But it's good that you're going to have time to pop in with us this evening. Chris, channel member, saying, sup, everyone had a great time at the game yesterday with the kids. Passed the COVID test to make. Sick as tonight, but was worth it. Wow, man. Hang in there, bro. Well, what opportunity to have to go with your whānau and do that. And Eyes Night, 4 from 4 last week, up the wires and Wahines. Yeah, we're going to get big up everyone in the chat. We know we'll get to all of our channel members later on as well. Fill up the chat with as many questions as you need. But starting point, where should we start, guys? A lot to talk about. I'm going to hit you hard right away. Is TANAH BOYD our future 7? It's been a big discussion point on social media. You can see people that, I suppose, not so much critical of Metcalf. I think Metcalf is still the future, but there is some direction that TANAH's leading us with. You can see structure and a style of play that allows parts of our game to work. And I mean that by saying you start this, it's no coincidence you saw a try from Berry and from Dallin on that side. All things considered as against the Tigers, I understand that. But from a structural set, his kicking game was, I thought, really, really solid. The variety of kicks he had, his passing distribution, all those things. I mean, he's not super, super elite, you know, but within the structure that Webby has, most of the halfbacks that have played in it can do very well. So let me just hit the chat quickly. Son Young, welcome, man. Hope you're well over in Chicago. Much love to you over in the US right now. Got to be TANAH next, going with TANAH. Team Mackie with TANAH as well. The comeback kid. Hosea saying how easy, how shocked it was. It did seem like seamless, didn't it? If you saw, I saw a snippet of an interview with TANAH after the game. He did say that they've been working on their combinations. And in fact, you look at his game, it wasn't just him on his own. It was him and Chanel. Chanel would get it first receiver. They had a really good game plan about how they wanted to execute their shape, and it actually was quite effective. There's actually opportunities there for Dell. If the pass was on point by Pompey, it's another try, and like vice versa on the left-hand side. But it was really, really cool to see. Team Mackie with his kicking game was always elite, but TANAH's passing was crisp. Never once did I think a teammate would drop the ball when he passed it. Team Mackie, I'm on the same buzz as you. There was one out the back shape, and we didn't score for anything, but he went to the line, obviously, with his lead runner, and he threw a super crisp pass to CHT in stride and on the chest. Like, there was no... What I loved about TANAH's game is there's no wasted movements, and the accuracy of the passes and the like. seem to fit perfectly to allow the shape to be in motion, all in one motion. If you look at, I just enjoyed watching him off the ball. So our eyes tend to gravitate to where the play the ball is and the contact there. I was watching more so in the back shots of the screen and seeing how he was moving. You could see him always moving just ever so slightly. Okay, I'm going to pitch right here. He'll just swing late to the left, and then he'll set something up to the right. Even if you see, look at his kicks, he sits a bit deeper back in his kicks when he gets it on the fifth to give him that little room to kind of push up and get a good strike on his kick. So all those executional things, you could tell he's he's a good solid half. And Tim's coming. Hey, shout out Tim's. I can see 10 at 7 and Alan. It definitely could be something to witness. And the cup spine link up was beautiful. Sure was. Chris saying, let's congratulate the New South Wales team for getting the next man up ready. Yeah, I expected that from Boyd. Controlled footy, good kicking game. Yeah, that, and I know Webby's mentioned that in his presser that he felt that TANAH was a big part of the success of their, I think, on a 12-game winning streak. That might be the first in Warriors history in terms of at pure cup level. Even if you take in the Vulcans and all those eras, 12 wins straight is pretty good, and he's been a big part of that. Nick here saying, feel is like TANAH's best and worst game won't look too much different. Metcalf possibly not so much. Keeping in mind Metcalf's best game would be higher. So I think, yeah, you could make a good point there. The highs of Metcalf are probably a step or two higher, but the lows of Metcalf as well, if you take in goal kicking and all those elements, probably are a bit lower, whereas TANAH can sit in that nice mean, that average, that kind of consistent. So I think that's probably sums him up. He is a consistent footy player. And so I think we're looking at a potentially good run here for all things being healthy as well. Great hands as well. If TANAH's roll until at least next April, when Metcalf returns, it could come down to who is at 6, Metcalf or CHT. That's another good argument as well. Specifically, CHT, who I think still been playing very, very well. Do you go with a Luke Metcalf to be a foil for a TANAH Boyd? And then that allows Luke to kind of really hone in on what his role is. Then again, there's a part of a Luke Metcalf that is likes to roam free and is free from structure. So would that also fit in with a TANAH Boyd? That could be a good point to discuss at some point, but very good there. Sonia saying, our attack revolved around Luke. Felt he lacked the long pass to put Dallin into the corner like SJ did 2 years ago. TANAH opened that up again. Yeah, the cutout pass or even the idea to set up for that, you could tell for sure that that Luke was, I suppose, doesn't quite have that in his arsenal yet, but TANAH's, he's got that experience to know what type of shape and etc. to link up with. So appreciate that. Bruce, mate, Bruce, love to our man Bruce, man. He is been a member for 10 months. Shout out to the bro. He's awesome. First time I met Bruce was through the Warriors Smelly Balls, should we say, the winner of that. And ever since then, it's been good to meet the brother. And not meet in flesh, but know him very well. 10 months of Wires Up, 30 years of Warriors, 54 years of rugby league. Loyal up the Wires, day one, baby. He's a day oneer. We love you, man, and appreciate the support. 10 months of supporting here at Wires Up TV. And you're too kind and you're too generous, my friend. But we love you here, and appreciate all your input. Even when you're trying to break me, I know you're trying to make me laugh, and there's some comments that I can't necessarily bring up as such, but I know it. When I see it pop up, I know it's you. I definitely know it's you. Evening, Dom. Great to see you, my friend. And I appreciate that. Boyd is a great pickup. For years, the Warriors couldn't get quality players to come over, and we could get guys like Ravelli, Green. Boyd is a miles ahead of those guys. Wow. That's a great comment, Brad. Actually, if when you're tracking back historically, I'd say Maloney now on reflection obviously is on that elite level of half in that vein. You guys remember the Berrigan era too? Berrigan with his little run here. I know Berrigan was more of a hooker utility, but there have been some quality guys. But to say Boyd is miles ahead is a bit of a statement, but I respect it. And based on the knowledge you have, obviously, going back as well. It's a great problem. Wills, welcome in. Welcome in. Yeah, those are the good ones. Bruce, hope they're still working. Oh, they might be dead by now, eh? Yeah, that's. I'll leave that Tanah boy there. We'll keep discussing it as we go along. I don't want to miss a comment I saw up here from a man Ted Clark. We will track a little bit now to Tuaupiki just for the moment. Ted saying I had Tuaupiki as my MVP for yesterday's game. By crikey's, that boy has tickers slipperier than an eel. He always seems to be able to beat the first man. I really do. You know me. I always say he's a footy player. If you can get more footy players on I think that brings success. And again, to acknowledge Kane and what his good work. I think there's a discussion at some point to say does he replace CNK? What are your guys' thoughts in the chat there? Keep talking whatever you need to, but I just thought we'd better start to kind of shift that discussion as well. We'll get to some of those talking points there as well. Just quickly, I saw Team Mackie got a good succession, but I think Catewell comes into the centres now for Berry. So that's something we need to address, but we'll see that in the team sheet tomorrow night. I looked a little bit at Leotoa. I'm not sure if Leotoa is ready to drop straight back in, but that's where I would go currently. Inspector saying it was great to have a pure 7 out there on board. I wanted to see him string performances together, but I'm very excited about the potential that we could have a strong 7 there. Inspector, you're bang on. It brings a bit of a structure and a bit of stability for the players too. Having that him there to kind of coordinate things, set up plays, it helps to alleviate pressure on Egan a bit more, helps CHT in his game. So an organizing half. And, Webby said, the halves, they're pretty much the organizer or the leader of the attack. Now, each driver of the car, although he gets the car keys, drives it a little bit differently. But you can see the way that Boyd operates. It should benefit the outsides a lot more structured-wise. So that is exciting. Sun Young TT. Tane offers something in attack that CK doesn't. Is Tane to fullback and CK at centre an option in 2 weeks? I mean, okay with SJ's farewell game. It could be. It could very well be. I would maybe, just to throw one back at you, Sun Young, throw one back at you in terms of what could it look like with a Tanah Boyd and a CNK? Maybe because Tanah's got more of those organizational elements, you get CNK involved a bit more. And then you still get that strong yardage game and you still get the strong defensive game. So I would be on the side of caution to look at potentially giving him a shot with Boyd. I know if you looked at historically, Webby, as much as we love Tane, has historically always gone back to CNK as his fullback, his main guy. So I don't think he's going to change away from that. But let's give it a fair shot to see what it looks like with Boyd and how that structure works. But I'm with you. I would love to experiment a little bit more like that as well. Next thing, just to jump on the positive midcast, I think we would have iced that opportunity when Dallin made the break and passed inside to Tanah. His speed is unreal, whereas Tanah was looking around to link. Yeah, for sure. I think those are the strengths, obviously, of Tanah Boyd. Of Metcalf. He has a strong support play game. That's he's always there in support. he would have been right up on the ball as well, even knowing um, Dallin and those kind of combinations as well. But I agree, that's a great point to bring up as well. Great point. Berrigan was here for a year, and honestly, I remember that year more for the Rocks and Diamonds drew of Mateo and Unu. Yeah. What Rocks and Diamonds were they were, weren't they though? Mateo and Unu, and on their day, fantastic, but absolutely on an off day, it was a long day. It was a long day. Team Mickey with Tuaupiki was awesome, but that small body worries me over a long season. See, that's always the big concern, isn't it? It's the durability. The argument against them is durability more than anything. I think that that's the kind of thing that I think people can't quite get past. But yeah, the hamsters, they're struggling. They're struggling to hold up. If Boyd stays healthy, it'll be hard to hand the Bromets number 7 back, Jay says, as Tanwa has had a way better run with injuries and consistency on the park durability wise. Yes, what a headache to have. It poses some really strong questions. Can I just quickly, guys, in the chat, can you give me an age for TANAH and Metcalf? What's the age difference? That would be something we could discuss. Like, are they the same age? Maybe. I never thought of that argument as well, Jez. Great point here from Nick. Yeah, that's some good points as there as well. Drop goals, TANAH's done it as well. That's true too. You can't take much away from that. Depends on Webby's loyalty. Tony Dub, welcome to Tony. Yeah, it was nice to just sort of see consistency in that space. Once Boyd gets some team confidence, I reckon he'll start seeing those gaps and taking his moments. I think so too. Watching Tuaupiki at the game, I noticed he was shifted out wide. He offered more speed, asked more questions in CNK, but remember Tuaupiki, TMM, and Boyd all on New South Wales common. Great point, Chris, and good to get your bird's eye view at that level as well to see what you saw. TANAH has more speed than we can give him credit for. His game awareness as well as of Lukey after watching him again on the replay. Dom has. I've noticed you, Dom, in comments across social media. You're a big supporter, a supporter of TANAH. Yeah, I think he did. I think he got one, Bruce, for Tane. That was that was a big one there. I had Tuaupiki as maybe FIFA. Yeah, I addressed that. Ted, appreciate your comment. I held your comment just back a little bit, just so we could change topics. But TANAH's boot alone was worth at least 4 points yesterday. Luke probably misses both those goal kicks to the side. You could argue that based on what we've seen. TANAH 24 and Mets 26. Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. Mate, what if you literally went TANAH and Mets as your future halves for the next 5 years? That's another. I didn't realize he was that young, TANAH Boyd. Man, now you're starting to think, whoa, give him the rest of the season, see how far he gets into a finals, and we might be saying he's that guy. Something to think about. Then you got CHT's 26, TMM 30. Yeah, TMM is probably on his way out, I'd say. But TANAH, I agree with you, Bruce. I thought he's been around forever. I thought he might have been 27, 28. Probably a player, and I can't equate this, but 70 NRL games already. Probably got burnt out a little bit, over in the Gold Coast. So maybe we're getting a look. SJ played till 34. If you get a healthy 10 of, I know this is probably really realistic, but if you keep Tamina Boyd around for another 3 or 4 years, you're getting him in his prime window. If he nails it, you know what I mean? So 61st grade games. Now that's looking a little bit different, isn't it? That was the Tigers game. Yeah. It was all we knew. Stacey Joe's 49, man. Still play. Jazz, you can still play. T-Herky 41, yo. Hey, we can play Masters. We can all play Masters. This is a really good talking point, Nick. Crazy to see how many halves flourish under Webby. Tanner was saying the same after the match that he was learning so much. This is why we get into this. I think there's a difficulty of evaluating halves under Webby because every halfback we've had, whether it be SJ, Dally M season, let's call it what it was, none of us were expecting him to bounce back like that. You could probably equate that to maybe SJ being already at that high tier level and applying himself, and so but to get Tamaide too, I think Tamaide had like 16 try assists within a 4 or 5, maybe 6 game period that he was at the half. Luke Metcalf was on Dally M points headed towards being a halfback of the year. Tanah Boyd, from what we've seen off one game, you could argue say he's the halfback whisperer potential Webby. That's why it's hard to evaluate these guys without giving a massive acknowledgement to Webby. But it's that shows signs that his coaching ability. Tahi, welcome in, my man. Thank you as always for like, share, comment, subscribe. It does help the algorithm, guys. So appreciate you guys. 88 in here. Can we get up to 50 likes? And we'll keep pushing through there. You never know. You never know, Bruce. You never know. It's always possible, my friend. Dans, good to see you. Hope you've been well. Hope your show went well. Tuaupiki, mate. He is. You can maybe add a year or two to Metcalf's playing age due to his major injuries. Yeah, you could probably do that. It's quite difficult, isn't it? But I didn't realize that Tanah was literally younger and had 7 so. There's a good argument to have at some point. Like if Tanah blows it out of the park, if he literally gets us to a prelim, I know we're talking, but there might be an argument to say, hey, sign him up long term. But let's be patient. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Yep, Jose going with CNK. We love Tane. Thrown to the Wolves. So 60 games over 5 seasons. So that's 10 games a season, pretty much 12 games a season. Yeah, that's not quite. He hasn't. I don't think from that team making, from what you're saying there, that wouldn't warrant him being fully burnt out as such, right? Probably just like you said, got thrown to the Wolves. Now if he's saying he's learning, it means there was some development that he's missed by being thrown to the Wolves. And now he's getting much more that is happy with his footy and his consistency. So you can see the game slowing down for him. It's just something you tell when you see a halfback controls the game and the way they move around. They get to points on the field and they're just really calm about it. I thought every kick he put up, consistent as well. Spectre Martin 43 and still playing for Toulon in France. Wow. Someone pointed out the halfbacks of the top 4 sides were all Titans at some point. Yeah, it shows you it's similar to the Tigers, isn't it? The amount of amazing talent that comes through the doors at some of these clubs and that just don't push on based on the club's systems. That's why I think it's so important for us. The talent we get through the door needs to be nurtured and nurtured carefully, and we're doing a good job right now. So, Mitch Moses, Tan says, Also, having Webby as a coach is the reason for his success. I love that. Playing TANAH in Cup Master Stroke by Webby allowed him to learn systems and work his way up to first grade. I think Pulley probably never had that luxury. Yeah. Is this Met second ACL? I don't think it is, Tons. I think he had a tibia fracture or break. He's had hamstrings. I think this is a first time at ACL. Tahi coming up with some gold there. I think Webby as a coach, a master communicator, people manager, and teacher. Definitely think he's all those three. People management. You tell the look, we haven't had massive blow ups with Webby as coach. So teacher, players, and they say you're learning means you're being a good teacher. Sonia, I like Laban to get more minutes. I also think Ford playing too many, Ford being tired and let Dewey's second try in. Yeah, I think there's a fine line. I think Webby naturally, once things are kind of rolling well, he does try to extend those players just a little bit longer. You can get caught out a bit if you push it too far. So I agree with you. Definitely agree with you that I thought Laban could have done a bit more. That's a great point, Chris. We did dominate. I thought we, even with Fish and Ford, we pretty much manhandled Paulie and May for good parts, and then Dimitrik and the like dealt with them as well. It's not an elite pack, so you've got an argument there. And that's a good point too, the Mick. When your platform is great like that, it's very easy to do many things. So wait till you see a bit, a tougher game for TANAH BOYD. I think the one thing that we probably haven't discussed was TANAH sitting on Fainu's the back rower all day. You know what I mean? He really, really sat on tackle wise. He was sitting on that one-on-one, and he did well in pretty much all of his one-on-ones with Fainu. He pretty much nailed it. So Nick is saying, how about the forwards this week? Good to see us win the ruck again. So much of Egan and TANAH flow from that. Thought Aaron and Ford has their best games in the last month. Oh, T-Mackie, appreciate. I love you guys in the chat. You got your knowledge base. I feed on you guys for knowledge. And actually, T-Mackie's come out and said he has had the same ACL a few years back. That I'm not ringing emergency alarm bells, but something to think about. Didn't realize, but yesterday's home game was the first one this year for Rocco. He is having such a frustrating year with injuries. Great point, Ted. I feel for Rocco. From that one yesterday, and whether or not he heals quickly, I'm almost like tempted to say, bro, just rest up, just rest up. But time is flying by so quickly, we don't realize it. But he's been out probably almost a year, and if we sent him home early again, that would be 2 years. That would start to cause reason for concern to maybe start looking at who the next. If you can't be on the field long enough, you might start to look at, can we get another center? But to be fair, patience is key in many of these situations. But those types of injuries does cause alarm. Jazz Touchwood TMM doesn't have any more brain bleed issues, etc. But if he's only played around 100 and 102 games, he could probably keep going for a good while. He may have to change clubs, though. Yeah, I think with Morgan Gannon coming in next year, I think that's another situation to think about. But then again, guys, we don't know who's leaving at the end of the year. Maybe they release Newcourt in. Maybe they move on from Jackson Ford. So I don't think we should rush to releasing guys right now until we know November time that the club starts to move in a new direction, or we start knowing around August, September who's leaving and who's staying. So he could still be here tomorrow. They maybe just are going to play their cards, but I think there are looking like options like a Morgan Gannon. But then again, if Pompey's going to be around, and Pompey, I mean, not to discredit Pomps, but he is in the top tier level elite center, but he has pretty much committed to the Warriors on whatever pay scale he's on, and he seems to always find game time. So Tamaida could become one of those guys that you call in as depth, you call in as moving forward. But yeah, for what he's been able to do, I think he's been pretty good in my opinion. Fair comment. Fair comment. Yeah, this is. I thought Webby made the good call to go put Jackson Ford in. I think Newcourt is an out and out edge player. Don't think he has the volume in the leg, the stamina to play in the middle. And I think that was a smart call from Webby. Dallin, for me, yeah, I thought he's had the best game yesterday. No, I think that's about right. I think he has played 70 or in the range of 70 as well. That's a good argument too from Dom. Towards ACL 2019. Wow. They on the wing is viable if you can do what he's doing there. Keith, good evening, sir. Love to our man Keith Whitelock, who I've had the pleasure of doing some international footy with. Keith, man, tell us what's happening. No, I know we've had discussions, but I love the passion with Keith, Warriors fan. Obviously, you guys have seen him on stream, seen him around the traps, obviously, with This Warriors Life, and Will's and those guy, and Brad, and Fonzie as well. But the passion I share with Will, with Keith, with about international footy, we love it. Would love to get some dates for Pacific Championships, wouldn't we? Or even a World Cup update as well. But welcome in, Keith, man. Thanks for becoming a channel member. Appreciate you, bro, for sure. Will ever get a break with injuries? Never. Was it death, taxes, and injuries? People are always getting injured. So I just think it's one of those things that you can never get away from it. All you can do is do what we did, which is you had a major injury to one of your key players in Metcalf, and you have a Tanah Boyd to replace it, and it's seamless transition. So far, I give the Warriors massive credit for getting those things right. Tansing asked this question on WFTV tonight, but do you guys think Tamaida deserves an extension now? His position as a utility is so important. I'd love to see him get another contract, even short term. I'll go back to the argument. Wait to see where the cards are, where they fall, and what the plan is. I think, if anything, we would get that out there right now. Then again, he might want to move on. I agree with a lot of Jazz saying that he hasn't got heaps of volume on his body to warrant to saying that he's really beat up, his body's broken down. As long as the mind is sharp and his body is willing, which I think it is, he could find himself over in Super League. He could find himself in another kind of role in the NRL as well. So there are options for him. Maybe his agent and himself are looking at that, but I think club are probably going to look at what is the utility role moving forward. We've gone from a Dylan Walker where it was Dills could cover a lot of positions, where Tamaida now has been moved around in a very fluid kind of a role. But something to think about for sure. I don't quite have the answer. I think Ali played a half a game in Cup. I don't think he's quite ready yet, Dom. I would probably go with Kate Wealth in the centres, in my opinion. Pompey, yeah. He just Mr. I've said he's the most probably underrated player we had this year because he's a naturally quiet player. He's not out there to really cause a scene, but the work he does, undervalued, underappreciated, probably deserves. And I think he got a contract till end of next year. Maybe they bump him up and extend him as well. Yeah, later I'll play 40 minutes of Cups. I do wonder if someone like Fatia Lofa moves to the second rotated centre next season. See, like the likes, that's something to actually think about that transition. And again, like we're going to ask ourselves, okay, Tanner Dale Smith's getting a lot of minutes, right? Or he's starting to get minutes. Laban, Dimitrik, and Leka have solidified their kind of roles now. So who are the people that they will be replacing? So the argument might be we've got Morgan Gannon coming as well next year. There might be an argument that Newcourt is leaving, or maybe Jackson Ford's going as well. So that's something where we need to start looking who steps in. But all good discussion points. I like CHT directing his side on defense. They were making the right reads. Yeah. And that was a nice transition from Knight. If you remember, actually, if you saw at halftime, I was expecting Tamai to stay on the right side. Webby said, no, we've been linking too many points down there. I'm going to switch Pompey over to that side and leave Tamai on the left side. And actually worked out really well. So nice little adjustment from Webby there. Bruce saying team member deserves an extension, definitely 1 or 2 years. And he loves his hunting. Why not? Yeah, we can't stop him from his hunting content, man. He needs to do that. The acting manager, yes, the 2IC. He's always at work. You know what I mean? He's always the acting manager is never sick, as we know, and everyone that's been in those types of jobs, they're never away. They always put their hand up to do the extra shift or go the extra mile. So the 2IC, how Pompey he is. Yep, good point there, Tans. Fantastic. It's great to see that confidence to do that you can dominate at that level. Hayden, welcome in, man. One of our best wins this year, considering the circumstances around injuries and how we controlled the game. I thought so too. It's actually 4 things: death, taxes, injuries, and Dallin in the corner. Hey, we like to see it, don't we? We love to see it. We love to see it. I think with Mythcast injury, team men will sign extension at a certain price. Yeah, actually, Mackie, you're a very smart man. You're a very, very smart man. My only argument to that was, do they think Luke Hansen, do they think Jet Cleary is the next step up next year? You know, and kind of sitting in that cup space and saying, ready when you are, sir, and let you know. That's another argument to have as well. So does Tamai block that pathway for a Luke Hansen or Jet Cleary is another question to ask. So, but definitely, you're thinking Metcalf won't be back technically till probably May, June next year, all things considered. Then maybe that's where you sign. Nah, Tamai, we want to extend you another year if you're happy with it. You and your whānau, we still value you, etc., etc. Sun Young saying, when Luke comes back next year, what about Tanah and Luke in the halves and CHT as utility? That seems more like a proposition that I could get behind. CHT's value as a utility is good. He's very solid. He can deal with a lot of the physicality in the middle, played hooker. So there's definitely it's worth a look in, sure. That's a good one where we can see Tanah and Luke. We have got the best looking halves in the comp. Yeah, CHT is it is a good point. Yeah, I think so, Bruce. Let him do his thing there. So, yeah, good idea. My only knock would be that he would sacrifice CHT's defensive capability. To be fair to McCarthy, I thought he was very good in his defensive work. I think all of our halves, to be fair, when they've come in and done a job, have been good defense. Like, you can't not be defensively sound with Webby. You know, his work that he loves that. That's a good analogy there. Sal Smith, first 5 minutes yesterday when saying the guy made an immediate, yeah, I loved it. Again, so you're thinking now he's going to be tracking up as well. Does he then replace Are we looking at replacements for Jacko Ford and the likes next year? I think we're going to get a good picture of what by October what's happening with the club. And so the argument again, going back to TMM, is that there might be an opportunity to extend them an extra year once they get an idea of how they're going to use their cap space, who's leaving. I definitely think one of those more experienced guys will probably leave. I know Jacko Ford's probably extended next year, but you never know. You just never know. He is. He's got that durability, Pompey. CHTB running half an hour with Boyd controlling the game. I actually like the balance they had. Times when they went, so sometimes CHT would go to first receiver and then Boyd would go out the back, and then vice versa, and then that would link well with Tane. So I think not so much a running half CHT, but I think a mixture of both is something I'd advocate for, or what they've shown at least against the Tigers. Jet and Nath Cleary 27. Wow. Back at the Warriors, that'd be crazy. The dad, he'd almost have to come back, wouldn't he? Like Dylan Walker. Interesting note. Why did Boyd sign for another year? We've heard the Cowboys were interested. Why would you turn down a first grade contract to play Cup? Different now because Mets is injured, but there's more. Is there more to it? Yeah, at the time and the point that it was being discussed, I do think, why would he do that? I think he just bet it on himself and maybe said, no, this is the best place for my development. Not many people would do that. And clubs with a New South Wales Cup half wouldn't necessarily invest or in that level of half. Ronald Volkman comes to mind in terms of halves we've let go. That sitting in that cup space that can't quite get to that level. Who was the other fella last year? The redhead fella. He left as well. But Tanah Boyd, I think he sees himself in that first grade team at some point consistently, and maybe he wants to build his career here. So who knows? Who knows what his intention is? Look, the all likelihood, love to him and the sacrifices he's made, but no doubt, I'm sure him and his little young family would love to go back to Australia at some point. But I think he's a player that sees the value that Webby brings. Again, Webby's very important in this, that he's banking on what he's learning with Webby right now and giving back to the club. That's his highest priority before trying to to get back into first grade and maybe say his confidence drops again and he gets thrown to the wolves. So, I think that's part of it, Tans, is that there's a bit of recovery in his storyline here. There's a bit of like him. I think part of his storyline is saying, I need to come back to the basics of rugby league. I need to get away from that culture and the Gold Coast, the Sydney media. Coming to New Zealand is a good break for him to get away from all that attention. Now he's sits in that safe space media-wise, where New Zealand media isn't on your case every day like it is in Sydney. So I think there's a bit of that. But I can't give you a clear answer, but that's my opinion. Yeah, I agree. Well, I think he extended, but I think, I don't know. They're going to release it. I just don't see many guys. I don't see. Yeah, there's some people got to. I think not heaps, but some will probably leave or have to leave to accommodate if we're going to bring through development. If we think there's a next run of players to bring through development, you need that. You need that DNA. He was in a trance, yo. Oh my goodness, you're savage. You're absolutely savage. Yeah. So for a while, they stopped running at him for a bit. Clark was huge again. That was the first I thought. Oh no, the boys have benefited from the bye here. They come in really hot. That was my argument, Ted, for that and Tai does a club come in and say, "Hey, we love you, we love your work, we want to bring you over there." He might not actually. He might be a Michael Luck type where he loves being in New Zealand. Like Egan, even you're probably thinking Egan probably could have easily pulled a compassionate grounds and gone. Knock on wood, he doesn't. But if there was a thing that matched his contract, maybe he goes to Webby and says, "Hey, Webby, appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for what you've learned. I want to get back home." Just saying, just putting it out there. I feel like CHT is amazing at playing second that field. It can't have team dominance and halves, I feel. Yeah. And I thought they balanced it well. I think there were times where CHT kind of, but yeah, in the system, it tends to lead to, well, probably one of our most attacking years in terms of was SJ23, and that was almost, he was in the ship with, I think, Metcalf and Tamari at that time. So, but again, I think can you guys hear me now? Sorry, my mic. I just made a movement and my mic came out there. Hopefully, all good. Can't hear me. Thank you. Back in business. Thank you. Okay, guys, another 10 minutes. Let me get through most of the comments here. Bruce, yeah. Well, this is where we need to get the information. Thank you for sharing that. So we be factor. It always has been, always will be. 105 in the house, 32 likes. It's free to do, team. Uppercut. Please hit that like, guys. Let's get us to 50, please. I know you're sitting there watching there. Just hit that like button. Get us up to a minimum 50. That'd be great. Thank you. Adam Kieran was another one. He was quite good too, wasn't he? Doing well over there. Yeah, he is Jazz. He really is. On board staying, feels like we're doing a good job of making players better when they get here. Can't think of a Ryan Hoffman in recent years. That's a great point. Never really thought of it that way. We're improving kind of, what's it called? Unknown players, coming in and taking them up a level. Passport, good to see you, my friend. Thank you, tons. Appreciate that. Yeah, Clark was good. He's very impressive. I really love the player. He's absolutely awesome. I just got to say, our fans are awesome. The amount of signs my son saw for Boyd was great to see. We really made him feel like he's part of us. Reward for doing a great job in New South Wales. Yeah, great point, Chris. And like, I love seeing the signs out there. I love seeing the love, passion for the Wahine. Probably talk more about the Wahine tomorrow night. But I thought they had a great game as well. And some of the talent in there is good too. We'll get to them at some point. But yeah, the passion for the love for the crowd is the culture with the Warriors have built it's so cool to see. Ale, TMM, Kossi, DWG, Bunty, Morgan Harper are not signed after 24. Yes, so there you go as well. Good point there. Thanks for sharing that, Ted. Dom saying, I think TANAH, after listening to him, wants to be an elite half, and being at the Wilds gives him this opportunity. He is here, and the Premiership, the sky's the limit for him. Time will tell. And like, this is, I know this is, if you guys will get this analogy, maybe you might not, but it's a little bit similar. So from an NFL, if you guys know your NFL, and I've followed the NFL 49ers fan for been a long time, but there was 49ers had a quarterback, Alex Smith, who got injured mid-season, and then Colin Kaepernick came in. And I think you guys will know Colin from some of his stuff around racial, standing up for black civil rights. He was the guy that actually went to the knee. He did the knee during the anthem. He was the guy that started it. But in 2012, Colin was kind of an unknown, but he came in and took the 49ers to the Super Bowl. Nearly won it. Came up short, but after that, Alex Smith kind of got traded, and Colin then became the face of the franchise. But there's a sweet opportunity here for Boyd that he could do similar. He could go on a run here, and not. I'm not saying he's going to take us to a grand final or anything like that. But say he does get to a prelim and does a good job, there's an argument there that he's 25, he's a year younger than Metcalf with more experience. Not saying get rid of Metcalf, but the two could be the halves pairing with TANAH Boyd being that organizing half and such. So when you add those factors in, you just never know. Sky is the limit. It was very, very hard. I actually just enjoyed the game times. I thought it was a quality game, just basics wise. Oh my. Hey, Randall, thank you, man. Love the work that CNK does. But man, it's good to see Tane at the back breaking. Yeah, Tane he just got that about him, mate. I really do respect him. Oh my god, I had a dream last night. I picked up a copy of Gold Coast Bulletin. And a few months at the front page was Clark and Boyd holding the trophy with the headline, "Why did we let them go?" Yo, that if you manifest that might be true, Passport. It actually might be true. It actually might be true. Shout out to the boys for supporting the Wahine when they ran out of the tunnel. That's where I locked eyes with TMM. Oh my goodness. He does have a lot of Kevin about him. Jake Fools, welcome in. Channel member. Great to have you in. Yeah, his development's been great. Storms. Michaela Brake had some guns on it, man. Made me look at my little arms and feel a bit jealous. Yeah, I saw the SJ interview and she had the guns out. I was like, whoa. Whoa. But man, she was awesome yesterday too. Jake, he has been one of the class wires of the year. That's a good one. Yeah, it was a really solid game, I thought. Wow, if you know your NFL boy could be our Kurt Warner career going nowhere and signs a backup deal, then boom. That's probably a better analogy, Mickey. Kurt Warner's story. It could very well be, but there's a window here for him to lead us into a premiership run here. So anyway, we'll start to wrap up, guys. Get your last comments in. Welcome in, Jake, channel member, man. Good to have you part of the team. Good to hear your thoughts as well. Chris saying, I've been critical of players in the past of coming back home, back to NZ, and then playing for Warriors and being absolutely ass. So I'm happy to see Clark bringing his A game. I totally agree with this. And the more I think about it, the more I realize how important it is to have good coaching. A good structure from top to bottom, obviously, but how important it is to have coaching that actually really, really lifts the levels so that there's no room. You are coming here to improve. I mean, look at how many go to Melbourne Storm. They know they're not there for a holiday. They're not there. And in fact, if they get worse, they usually get rid of them. So that starts from us as well as a club. But I agree there are probably some players that knew that coming back to the Warriors, they're going to cruise control and just fade out the back end of their careers. So I love that Clark's come back, said, no, I'm here to, I'm really here to work hard and to be successful. And just hoping, it is our hope that we win a premiership and that those players are part of it. That's my goal and my desire as a fan, as it is yours. Molly Apple, man, the girl is a gun. I like her. She's gonna get better, I think. Like, I think she's gonna really, really develop her game. Her kicking game is fantastic too. Goal kicking, like she missed the tough ones, but the actual striking of the ball is very, very good. Like that, she kicked that like 40. It was supposed to be, it looked like it was going to be a 40-20, but it ended up in the end goal, and then they got out of it. But her long kicking game, if she can get a really good grip on it, man, she can lead us around the park. I think we'll probably finish around 6th or 7th, but I think we should have a pretty good year with those girls. What do you think of the Knights this week? Sounds like the coaches on the out there riddled with injuries. They underestimate the Knights, man. I swear these guys, they just got a way about them. Whenever they're down, when O'Brien's down, he finds a way to get back up. I mean, our record isn't great too at Newcastle either, so it's going to be a tough game. Brings me back to maybe, was it 23? We played them away, we lost. 24, we played them in that Blimmin Storm and we lost there. So it's not a happy hunting ground being at Newcastle, but I think for the sake of argument, we're definitely in with a chance and definitely should be confident. But it's hard to predict with the Knights, man. They are so up and down. Whenever O'Brien's about to get the sack, he pulls one out. So, yeah, I get that sentiment. I definitely get the sentiment. There's been players like Isaac as well. Even Blair, I thought was. But then again, you tie that in with an unprofessional system and structure that it's going to breed unprofessionalism as well. So, but I agree with your sentiments, Wills. Yeah, he's really good. I want to watch the interview with him and on that channel. I saw that come up on YouTube. I think it's Zach Martin or something like that. Martin has interviewed him. Might be a good watch too. I haven't watched the CNK one yet, but I need to get around to that with Dave Latille. She's man. She can hit hard. Thank you, Wills. Appreciate your guidance here. Give me a very tough one. Yeah. The Fish just tells it how it is. Yeah, we knew it was going to be easy. I love that. There you go, Nick. That nailed it. That nailed it. Okay, guys. I've got something. I'm actually going to go over to Fanatics now and do a little show with Fanatics. I'm going to take a breather, but I'm going to send you his way very shortly. What do you think of Benji's presser? He was so positive about the Warriors at Uppy game on the side. I think Benji knows what's up, man. I think he knows what's up with what Webby's doing. Probably a little bit jealous, but I appreciate the acknowledgement for sure. But yeah, we're gonna wrap this up very shortly, guys. I'm gonna shoot over to Fanatics now. I'm gonna send you guys that way anyway. Hit them with a wires up in the chat, hashtag wires up raid. Give them a wires up raid there. But thank you for your time. We appreciate you. We welcome in all the new channel members. Want to acknowledge Randall. Want to acknowledge Keith Whitelock. And I know if Keith is doing some amazing stuff in the international space. It's my soft spot. It's a shame, we aren't global fully yet like other sports, but we'll get there one day. And lastly, acknowledge my man Bruce. 10 months of Wires Up membership, 30 years of Warriors, 54 years of rugby league, and he gifted out 5 memberships last night. So everyone that's benefited from their membership, show some love to my man Bruce, who's always been loyal and great to have. But anyway, thank you, Tahi, and thank you, Randall. Yeah, and see you over Fanatics. Go do your just go print out one of your go out and make your own bulletin, should we say. Give the man some love. Okay, guys, we're sending you over to Fanatics now. Show some love to the brother there. I'll be on there very soon. I'll just get a drink, refresh, and then I'll meet you over there. But we'll catch you tomorrow night for All You Can Eat. We'll be here, me and Ash, breaking that one down for you and getting that team list ready for the Knights. Mate, exciting times ahead. Catch you guys later. Up the wires as always, and peace.